Hi everybody, my name is Megan Quinlan and I am super excited to be here as part of the Halloween Challenge of 2023 hosted by Kia Hunt. I'm super excited to be included on the prompts and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a mixed media artist, bookbinder. I also am a stamp and stencil designer. I have an Etsy with the same name, and I've been doing this for over 25 years now, which makes me feel really old. But I'm a mom of 4 kids as well, and so I always kind of nurture my inner child, and I get very excited about things like Halloween because everybody is still trick-or-treating in my house. It's still like a big deal. And so when this challenge came around, it really kind of ignited that passion I have for Halloween. I used to live in Salem, Massachusetts by chance, and I lived there for 6 years and I really got into it. I started collecting a lot of vintage Halloween ephemera, and I'd be walking home from work and they'd be doing ghost tours at night. It was a fun place to live, and it was on the ocean. So Halloween is something I'm really passionate about. So once I signed on to do this project, I decided pretty much immediately that I was going to create a book and do all of the prompts and have a book dedicated to this challenge because I had to get my Halloween out. So I just created this book structure, which is actually a book structure I use all the time. I have writing journals that are kind of the same composition. It's a super easy 3-signature journal. And I actually have a class where I make a lot of this style. So I just thought I'd throw one of those together for this challenge. And I was super excited about working with all the other artists and doing all the prompts and having a book dedicated. At the same time, what really sent me over the edge is I had been doing some Halloween stamps, and it was like another way for me to put a lot of the images that I had into a journal. So I was super excited about this project. I can't even tell you. I have been skipping ahead, so technically it's September while I'm filming this. We are not on day 17 today. It's actually September. So I have been so excited about this project that I started jumping ahead and working in this journal because I just couldn't wait to get started. So I haven't gotten super far, but I thought I'd do a quick flip through before I started with my prompt. I started just making some spooky stuff. And I found this sticker in one of the ideology sticker sets that's at Salem, which, you know, was very personal to me. So I couldn't help but make like a spooky kid with the Salem on there. Maybe I'll journal a little bit about some of my experiences living there. And then I wanted to do the title page, which I think is day 1. I decided to number all the pages for the challenge too. I just thought it would be super fun to like go back and look through it. And I had a lot of fun doing letters here. And then I wanted to have a page with all the prompts, basically for me, so I can reference them as I go through the book and I have them. So I did this little, it's just a tag folded in 3, and I just glued it to the page. And I put like a Tim Holtz paper doll there. This is one of my stencils, and just put some stuff in there and all the prompts. So I thought that was fun. And just, you know, kind of looking through my stash and thinking how I can turn things into something that isn't normally Halloween and October themed, and kind of turning it into that was something that was really excited for me. So this is day 2, which I think is Autumn Vision Board. So I really just stuck to lots of things that were fall looking or orange, and meaningful to me. This is like one of my favorite paper dolls that I've ever made. So I just keep photocopying her and sticking her on everything. And then fortune teller, I was super excited to do that because a while back I had made a stamp that I think she's called Seeker, and she reminded me of a fortune teller, so I couldn't wait to kind of pop her in there, and just kind of play with, you know, stars and moons. This was like a Tim Holtz, I think it's called picture frames or something like that, photo frames. And she just happened to have like all the right stuff, so I thought, oh, she's perfect for a fortune teller page. This one, at first I thought, this is Spooky Cinema, I think, was the prompt for this day. And I was like, wow, how am I going to make, I was thinking like Creature of the Blue Lagoon, maybe. I wasn't sure. And then I remembered I have this stencil of my daughter and I loved it. I was like, oh, that's very cinematic. And then I looked through my stash and Dina Wakely had these stamps, so I stamped those, and this one had like a cinema bar, so I just added some to this one, and I thought that was perfect, and then I made a little pocket for those. This is something I kind of had ready-made from another class that I was doing, and I think this is Haunted Attic. I better check so I don't get the names right so people don't get mad at me. In the Attic, sorry. In the Attic. So I just kind of put various things. I had some spider webs from Art Foamies that I stamped in there. And this is another Art Foamy from the Halloween collection. So it was just super fun to put that in there. And then this is kind of where I've stopped. I think this is Myths, Legends, and Tales. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I knew I wanted to use this paper doll. I have one called Fairy Tales, so I was like, oh, I definitely want to use that. And I put some little Tim Holtz. He has so much ephemera for Halloween. And then I made a big pumpkin. Then she started reminding me of the Cinderella lady. So I did her, and I just did some watercolor pumpkins, which I thought would be fun. And then I haven't done much else, but I will tell you the pages for this journal. I used the Ideology background pages because they were just the right size and they had just like perfect backgrounds for the theme. I was trying to kind of keep my journal fairly monochromatic and just keep it black, white, and orange, those kinds of colors. It did have some blue on this page. So this was a perfect backdrop. So I thought that was cool. So today is 17 runes. And I immediately chose this one because I had some images in some of my stash that I thought, oh, that would be really good for runes. But then I thought, well, let me look up what runes are. And then I remembered runes are kind of a writing, like an ancient kind of writing. So I found some cool kind of rune info and some inspo on the web. So I wrote that down and I just wanted to kind of outline it. So I had the word there. Super cool. And I'm using a Stabilo all pencil, which is kind of water soluble, or you can smear it around and get some depth. This page ended up being the runes page, which I thought was so timely because this kind of reminded me of runes, like ancient writing. So I thought that was super cool. And then I have just a collection of stuff here, which, you know, I kind of thought might go with this theme. I think already I want to maybe put this here. It's just super cool. It's some packing tape I did years ago. And this, I think, is a Dina Wakley stamp. But I thought that was kind of cool for that side. And then when I thought of runes, initially I was, well, it's runes and relics, actually, I should say. So maybe I should write relics too. So I'll add that. Oh, don't cross your L. Okay, runes and relics. So this kind of reminded me of something, you know, from way back when, in like the Druid area or something. And I had just some old papers I thought might be good. And I made some runey things. I have a figure here, one of my paper dolls that might be good, but then I had this lady ready. She's kind of fun. I didn't know. Anyway, I definitely think I want this guy here. I just can't decide. I want him in the middle, on the side. I think I'll do him on the middle. The cool thing about this stuff is it's packing tape that's already stamped. So it's like a self-adhesive. So all you have to do is spray it, and then it sticks to wherever you put it, which I think is super cool. So I'm just going to trim it here. Just like that. And I'll come back to that. It's kind of stark the way it is, so I might add something to kind of blend it in. Maybe I'll do that now. I have this cool paper. It's not really meant, though, to be torn, so it's kind of hard to get pieces off, but I love how it looks. So I'm going to glue that. I'll use the back of this page. The fun thing about this project, aside from all the other stuff, like I love Halloween, and I happened to be working on a lot of Halloween stuff when this came up. It was also an excuse to kind of get out of my mixed media everyday practice, which I do mostly mixed media and watercolors, and really kind of get back to doing some more junk journal style, which I love. And I don't really have as much of an excuse to do in my everyday. So I just thought it was fun to really have an excuse to do some of the projects in this book. So I'm going to add this. Ooh, I like that better. No? I can't decide. Sorry, side. This is like real old paper. It breaks my heart to use this stuff, but that's what it's for. It's the real deal, which is kind of cool. I remember one of my favorite things to do in Salem was walk around on the weekends. Well, actually not so much. It was extremely touristy and kind of painful, but on one of the streets that I lived down, sometimes like the really old big houses, people would buy them and they would unearth like all the contents from these houses. And it really is, you know, very old there. And I'll never forget one day there was this old box of stuff on the street, and it had old papers and like opera. I guess the person had been an opera singer, so there were old photos and old opera bills and just old fabric. It was just like so fun. I loved it so much. I grabbed so much out of that box, and I still have some of the stuff from in there. So I'm just looking if I want her as my focal point. Initially I thought she'd be cool, but now because he's so tall, I'm trying to kind of offset things and make it look a little more balanced. So I might do something like that. So I'm going to glue her down. I tend to work really quickly when I'm doing assemblaging. I try not to over audition things because then I get way too in my head. And I have found over the years that really there's no wrong way to put something together. We just think there is. And so I figure I just need a couple of minutes to figure it out and not too much more. I'm just rubbing any glue off of the things that I'm seeing. And I was so excited about using these shapes that I have that aren't runes at all, but they could be relics. So it's getting a little too like muted. So I'm going to break this up a little so it's not like tone on tone, which is sometimes cool, but in this case I don't want it so tone on tone. I'm just going to make it a little smaller. I'm going to glue this piece down, this collage piece. In my everyday, I'm always making lots and lots of collage papers with my stamps and stencils, so I have lots of those at the ready, but it's hard to just pick what you want to use. All right, I like that. I love this shape too because it kind of reminds me of an eye. So I could balance it out, you know, and put this over here if I want. I don't think that's such a good idea, but this one's kind of cool. I could do something like that, or I could just not do it at all and just have the one. And I think to kind of pull this side together, I'm just going to add some marks here. So it kind of looks, I'm drawing away from the border of this tape so it's just not like stark right in the front. I don't know. I feel like that might be finished. It's a lot harder for me as a mixed media artist. I tend to use just a few elements, but one of the things that I admire so much with a lot of people who do junk journaling is that they are the masters of creating like a beautiful collection of items and just making it work so well, like so many things. And I really need to practice doing that a little bit more. It's still kind of a new thing for me. And I have to say, I'm not quite as confident using like tons and tons of elements. But I would like to get better at it. Play around with that kind of concept a little bit more. I'm just putting a little bit more of this everywhere to kind of balance it out. And let's see, kind of like that there. And again, I'm just doing this to kind of blend in this border here that could just look odd by itself and kind of add a little bit everywhere. One of the things I like to add on everything, oh, maybe I won't do that here. Let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. I kind of think I like it just like that. What do you think? Is this done? Do I need to add anything else? Got this beautiful paper. Let me just see here. I don't want to get rid of too much of that writing, but I don't know. I'm trying to think, should I break some of this up? Oh, I like that. Okay. Might add that up there. Just kind of, oops, just drop my glue, which is probably a sign that I should be all done with my runes and relics. And what I've been doing just for fun is kind of coloring in my numbers. And of course, I don't have the, I'm looking at my pens and pencils here. All the colors I want to use. Oh, I guess I could use this one. Kind of matches. Just use gold. All right, I think I'm gonna call her done. I had so much fun doing today's challenge, and I can't wait to watch all the other challenges out there and check out all the other ones. I'm just so excited to be part of this challenge, and I really hope we can do it again next year because I've just had such a blast. So thank you so much, Kia, for asking me. And I hope you all enjoyed hanging out with me for a little bit.